looks like. As you can see, lots of new renovations. We got a runway over here. Get another runway over here that you can't see. We got parking terminals around. Very accessible airport. Very easy to get in and out usually. Recently rebuilt and relaunched about 2 years ago. Very similar to the Austin, Texas airport if you've ever been there. Design-wise, I feel like it's the exact same design. Very, very similar. Much nicer than our previous airport, but if I'm honest, less functional than our previous airport. We used to have 3 certain terminals that, I mean, it's already a very easy airport, but it was incredibly easy then. But definitely way spread out and not very effective use of space or people, I'm sure. So a net positive for Kansas City for sure. Brand new parking garage, which is a huge improvement. Tower directly ahead. As you can see, the terminals for arrivals and departures are here. You'll be telling your friends to pick you up in that general area for arrivals and dropping you off for departures. As you can imagine, that's generally how this works. Baggage claim directly ahead. They have a separate section for ride shares. You'll need to, when you exit the airport, walk across the crosswalk. I think twice. Is it twice, Wendy?
Yes.
Cross over 2 of the crosswalks, and generally speaking, when you walk out the doors, you're going to be walking out towards the right. As you can see, there's multiple lanes to the left, and that's where your drivers will be picking you up. Pretty easy to use, good airport with a lot of spaces and a lot of opportunities for parking and easy access in and out of the airport. As you can see here, ground transportation is also directly out the front doors, as well as the general parking. And then we also have more terminal parking directly to the south of the terminal. So as you make your way out of the airport, you'll find yourself very much to the north of the city center of Kansas City. Our current airport is about 15 to 20 minutes north of city center. Takes you about 30 minutes to just about anywhere in Kansas City from here. It seems like just about everything in Kansas City works that way. It's about 30 minutes to everywhere. And from here to get to the center of downtown, I mean, depending on traffic, I don't know, I'd say you could probably do it in 15, 20 minutes pretty easily on a normal day. If you catch yourself in the wrong side of traffic, it might take you, twice as long, maybe a little bit more, it just depends. But typically speaking, you're not going to see that kind of traffic and those kind of problems here. If you've never been to Kansas City before, the summers are very warm. Currently, it is January. It's unseasonably warm, I'll show you. 43 degrees right now on January the 16th, 2026. And we are expecting that to drop to about a high of 18 tomorrow. So the one thing you can count on in Kansas City is that the weather is constantly changing. And if you don't like it one day, just wait, tomorrow might be very different. So I guess the lesson inside of that statement is that when you come to Kansas City for the World Cup, my suggestion would be to bring plenty of layers and options. Most likely it's going to be incredibly hot. Generally speaking, it is in June. Could see temperatures as high as 90s with feels like temperature of even 100 in June is possible. Most likely you're going to be seeing something in the neighborhood of 85 to 90. Could see thunderstorms. We do get a lot of heavy thunderstorms during that time of year. So you'll want to make sure you understand how all that works if you're not familiar with it. Obviously, you'll know if a storm's coming in. You'll be able to tell by the sky that there is a storm approaching, but everyone around you will be able to assist if something like that should happen. Hopefully it won't, but just in case, it's good to have a plan. And obviously pack an umbrella teams will be playing in multiple stadiums. Arrowhead Stadium, also at the CPKC Stadium, which is the new first in the world women's, built specifically for women's professional soccer, where the Kansas City Current plays. And then we also have matches that will be held at Arrowhead Stadium, which is where the Kansas City Chiefs currently play. If you're not aware of it, they have most recently announced and made an announcement that they will be departing Missouri after being here for the entirety of the team as the Kansas City Chiefs, and are moving across the state line to Kansas, which there will be some match play in Kansas as well, as I understand. The University of Kansas is actually located in Lawrence, Kansas. That is about, from here, would take you probably in the neighborhood of 45 minutes to 1 hour, maybe closer to the 45-minute side. It's going to be directly to the west of Kansas City. Again, straight shot down I-70. You would have a toll road on I-70. If you take the K10 or K7 around, you can work around those tolls. It's just a much longer trek, so probably worth a couple bucks to take the toll road. Yeah, gives you an idea of what you're facing. So matches will be held at Sporting KC, which is also in the Kansas side of Kansas City, Kansas, which is where we're expecting that the Kansas City Chiefs will be moving as well. That's also where the Kansas Speedway is and the Legend Shopping Center. When you arrive to Kansas City International, from the gate, once you're in your car, I would say to get to the Legends and everything that's at Sporting KC, the Speedway, the Legends, and the other hotel or accommodations out there, you're looking at, I'd say, a 30-minute drive. You'll have plenty of options for hotels. They're building more and more every single day. I would say that from a preference of staying, I would say that most people prefer to stay on the Missouri side, only because, whether it's real or not, there is a perceived safety factor that comes along with Missouri that tends to not be expressed the same way on the Kansas side. Like any other place, there's good places, there's good pockets, there's bad pockets. You just got to pay attention to your surroundings, recognize what it is that you're surrounding yourself with, and make sure that you're comfortable with it. I think if you feel comfortable, then you're probably in a comfortable spot, and if you don't, then you probably need to look for other options. It's my understanding that the housing situation for World Cup 2026 in Kansas City is going to be quite challenging. The city has been pretty aggressive at removing short-term rentals. They've now tried to change their tune. Now that they see an opportunity for them to make some money, they're attempting to bring people back into the idea of Airbnb after they scared everyone out of it, telling them that strangers were staying in houses next door and sending people to stay in seedy motels rather than nice homes that were curated specifically for visitors. So hopefully there'll be a lot more Airbnbs available for the tournament this year. I don't think it's a full-time thing. I think they're just going to do it for a short-term opportunity for homeowners, which I think is unfortunate because the investment is substantial. If you're considering setting up your house for a rental, I would encourage you to do that at an economical price, because if the price is too high for a short-term opportunity and short-term rental, meaning a 2 to 3 month window, I wouldn't want to put a bunch of investment into something that only has 2 to 3 months to recapture, unless I was 100% confident that those numbers make sense. And so as we work towards the tournament, I know that I've heard that there's 1,000% increase in demand on Airbnb. So that's encouraging, and I know that the rates are substantially higher. So I would expect that that's going to continue to trend in that direction as long as ticket sales stay strong. So I would expect to plan for that. So here you see 152 going off towards Topeka. That is the way that you would head towards the Speedway. That would take you directly over to the Kansas City, Kansas area and guide you. Like I said, you'd be right in the neighborhood of the Speedway, Sporting Kansas City Park, and also the Legends Shopping Center, and everything else that they have to offer on the Kansas side of the state line. Now, if you're staying in Missouri, we're pulling into the North Kansas City area. As you can see to my right, that's Zona Rosa. Off to my left, this is Berry Road. This is the first sort of concentration of Kansas City, or what they would call the north side of Kansas City. Lots of restaurant options, lots of food options, fast food options, Walmart, AMC. You've got a lot of things here that if you're looking for a place to hang out, do things with the family when there's not matches happening, this is probably a good place if you're up in this area. lots of hotels and accommodations here. Directly to our east would be Liberty. Directly to our south would be Riverside, and directly to our west would be, well, if you're going west from this point exactly, you would eventually end up in Kansas, on the Kansas side, like near Bonner Springs and by the stadiums. But west of where we'll be here in about 3 minutes would put you in an area called Parkville. Parkville is a beautiful town, wonderful park. The landing park in Parkville is something you should see if you like to walk or jog. There's a beautiful trail along the river, the Missouri River, that is second to none. There's also Park University there, and there are also some practice facilities that are expected to become base camps for some teams during the tournament. So you'll want to keep your eye on where they are, keep up with your favorite team, and maybe help decide where you want to keep your accommodations and your family close so that you can spend as much time watching the team from base camp or during their matches as possible. Probably a great idea. So we're about halfway to downtown now. As you can see, a lot of vacant retail. A lot of strip malls in the Kansas City area are going through a bit of a change right now. I mean, since the pandemic, many have closed. I think a lot of online shopping has driven that quicker than expected. But just one of those things that you could expect to see. We have seen quite an uptick in folks in Kansas City who are homeless. So I noticed the city's doing a really good job of trying to remove some of the thicker brush and trees along the sides of the road to try to keep these areas clean and as desirable as possible. And also, I think they're working on some plans to try to get some folks rehomed in the area who have been struggling with housing and finding a place to live. So all that's a net positive as well for Kansas City. To my right, you can see a Sunrise dispensary. If you're curious, yes, marijuana is recreationally legal in Missouri. Kansas City, of course, is a part of that. City by city, that varies. So if that's your thing, you'll have plenty of options to do that. And we have dispensaries throughout the city, and they're more than happy to tell you all about what they offer and what it might or might not be able to do for you. So something to keep in your hat if you're looking for things to do, something different, or if that's just something that you depend on to enjoy your trip. Feel comfortable knowing that no need to travel with that. You can take care of it when you arrive and get rid of it when it's time to go home and not have any concerns. So for what it's worth, there's that. And yeah, now we're pulling into what will be the edge of downtown as we enter the city center area. You can see again, we've got a 635 pull off to the right. Sign just said Argosy Casino. We do have legal gambling in Kansas and Missouri. And we also just recently, on both sides of the state line, have brought on sports gambling. So the sports books are open on both sides of the state line. I know that the Hollywood Casino has a sports book. I don't think the Argosy does. I know that the Ameristar on the Missouri side also has a sports book. So a couple options there if you're looking to bet on some of the matches or any of the other sports that you're into. Those options exist here, just like as if you were in Vegas. So that's a new amenity to Kansas City, and certainly something that I think will bring another level of enthusiasm to the matches in Kansas City. So 635 also takes you off to Kansas, so another route to get you over, heading towards the Kansas side. This exit here, exit 3C, will take you directly into Riverside. I do know that we have a brand new amphitheater that just opened in Riverside that's owned by Live Nation. I expect that there will be some pretty big performances happening around and in the World Cup footprint, so I would expect that the Morton Salt Amphitheater will be featuring some of those acts as we roll into their very first season here. There's also another, I think, base camp right on the edge of where Argosy is located, that I believe is where the Sporting KC, actually, our professional men's team, actually that's their practice facility if I'm not mistaken. They also have some others in the Kansas side as well, but many parks set up for just this tournament, and obviously Kansas City gearing up big time for what's to come. So Here we have two different options to enter Kansas City. We've got Kansas City via 2971 South, or we can go 169 South, Kansas City into downtown. I'm going to go 169 South just to show you a little bit more about the entry to the city, a little bit more about what you can expect once you arrive on City Center, and what that ride will look like, to give you an idea of how to plan if you've never been here before. Hopefully you'll find this helpful. If there are any specific routes or areas that you would like us to feature as well, please feel free to let us know. I'm Shannon. My wife Whitney's here. I'm lifelong residents of Kansas City. I've always loved this place, and will always love this place. It's changing rapidly right now. I would say that we're, if not hyper-growth, we're definitely on the brink of hyper-growth in Kansas City. So, as with anything, when you see that, you do see, some growing pains that come with that. You can see the skyline popping in right over the top of these buildings. Definitely getting close now. This area here is called, what's it called again? That's where Travis Kelce lived, and the name of the neighborhood is escaping me for some reason, which is crazy. But anyway, Travis Kelce was living there. What's that?
Palisades.
No, that's not it. There's a Palisades over there, but that's not the name of this area. Anyway, that's where Travis Kelce was living when he first started dating Taylor Swift. And we live pretty nearby here in North Kansas City, which is this exit here. During a Halloween party, it was pretty interesting to see the paparazzi surrounding that entire neighborhood, and really, kind of having a heyday in Kansas City, in a neighborhood that we spent a lot of time in. That, for whatever reason, I can't think of the name of. I'll remember it shortly and let you know. But right now, I can't think of it, and we can't either. We have some friends that live there also, so it's kind of silly. But that's what happens when you try to make a live video, I guess. I'll pop it in with a flyover if I come up with it, which I know I will. Okay, so now we're coming into the industrial area, and this is the old Kansas City Airport. This is actually the home of the Connie, which was the airplane that Howard Hughes and TWA made so famous so long ago. And the Kansas City downtown Charles Wheeler Airport was actually a pretty big deal, and remains a active airport where we have air shows and all kinds of other things that are happening around Kansas City. We have a lot of planes in and out. Obviously, when Taylor and Travis started dating, it was a lot of fun for locals to track the flights as they come and go. We see a lot of private aircraft flights come through here. We also have a lot of the sports teams where they come to play. But everything from AC, C-130 to a Cessna can easily access and land at this FBO, or this downtown Kansas City airport that's still functional. As you can see, it was probably a lot more convenient back in the day to fly into Kansas City, because this used to be the primary commercial airport. As you can see, it's definitely a bit of a drive. I think we're about 20 minutes in now. It looks like 18:44 from the airport to here. So I think I said 15 minutes to downtown. Maybe we'll call it 20. I definitely have not had a traffic issue, but I'm also trying to share a lot of information with you here. So again, if there's any areas of focus or questions that we can help you with, just let us know. We want to make sure all of our guests and visitors from all over the world that come to see the World Cup in Kansas City have a great visit and know exactly what they're getting themselves into and how to navigate the city as best as possible. We would be happy to show you routes, show you locations, show you, surrounding areas as it relates to things you might have questions about. Please like the channel, share the channel. If you have questions specific to Kansas City or anything related, please reach out to us. We'd be happy in the comments to help you out. We look at every comment. This is the old terminal. It's now VML, which is a local advertising agency. They're a very large agency. They've been bought many times. I mean, they call themselves local. I think they're part of a much larger conglomerate now. But they definitely got their start here and have really put themselves, Kansas City, on the map as it relates to big time ad agency work. And so pretty cool to have them right here, and also pretty cool to have your office directly on the runway or the tarmac. And that's downtown Kansas City. So as you take a look, you can see this is a